Hello, everyone. For those of you who are available and happen to be awake at 9 o'clock in Central Standard Time, if you're someplace else, I wanted to share some thoughts about what's been going on in our country, what's been happening in our world. And I think specifically thinking about folks who have messaged me, friends, colleagues, people I've worked with, and have been asking a central question, which is, do you need anything? How can I support you? What might be helpful and what might be needed? And I wanted to spend some time talking about that, not from the entire, I cannot represent every Black man in America. I can't represent what all African Americans think and feel, but I can tell you some words from me and from my heart. If you know me, my love language is acts of service. It's not necessarily words. And so if you have reached out to me and said you're sorry, or that you really care, or that you understand how hard this must be, I've appreciated it. And as an acts of service person, I think I'm looking for something a little bit more tangible. I'm looking for something that is more graspable in action. So I thought of four things that would matter to me, that would speak to me. The first one is widen your circle. When I was in graduate school in Vermont, I remember sitting in a restaurant and having a little white child continually staring at me and finally tap me on the shoulder. And this child said to me, "Why are you brown?" He then turned to his mortified mother, who was trying to hush him, and asked her, "Mommy, why is he brown?" I told her that it was okay. And I started explaining to the child maybe a lesson that the mother was not ready for him to have. The thing that was complicating about that situation was that in this child's life, he had never been exposed to difference. He had never been exposed to someone who didn't look like him. So the only thing he could ask for was, why? Why do you not look like me? When every representation this child had seen on television and at the dinner table, probably at preschool, daycare, it had only been surrounded by folks who looked like him. So, to my white allies, widen your circle. Not just the distant Black person that you talk to occasionally, but I want Black people at your dinner table. I want Black people in your life authentically, not just as the tokens that maybe you found and thought, oh, I heard that I should have some Black people in my life, but that you have authentic relationship. Because I believe that when we have authentic relationship, it transforms who we are. It transforms how we think. It transforms how we show up. It transforms how we are in communion with other people. Make sure that there are folks who do not look like you at your table. Make sure that they're at birthday parties, that they're at graduations, that they are at anniversaries and retirement celebrations. If you find all of your pictures, all of your social media, all of your family gatherings, all of that which you consider important to you, and the only people sitting at the table are folks who look and think and act like you, then siblings in Christ, we have a problem. My second thing, don't stop talking. I don't want my Facebook page to be the only page that's lifting up the fact that Black lives matter and Black lives have been taken forcibly and horribly, that Black lives and Black folks are being murdered on a continual basis. Flood your Facebook page with reality of what's happening. I want you to be making the post, "Stop killing Black people." Preferably, I actually don't want to continue to see my brother's face with a white man's knee, kneeling him to the ground and murdering him in broad daylight in public. I preferably don't want to keep seeing those images. But what I do want to see is you, as my white ally, saying this must stop. I want it, if you want to make all of your posts for the next whatever, continue to say that, continue to be that. That's what I, as your friend, your colleague, your brother, your connectional person, that's what I want. I want you to not stop talking. I want you to talk at dinner conversations. I want you to talk about it on the phone with your grandma and with your uncle and with your aunties and with your cousins and with other white folks who actually might not be saying this. I want you to make posts and tag all the other white folks that you know so that this becomes a conversation that extends beyond Black folks. I want you to take the emotional labor. I want you to talk more than me. I want to sit back and as I'm dealing with my own emotional reality of what's going on, to know that you are being the advocate, you are being the champion, that you are taking this to the next place. I need you to not stop protesting. I watched as one of my colleagues, African American trans pastor in the city of Minneapolis, is on the streets in the midst of protests. And he still has to pastor, still has to be available, still has to do this work. I want him and folks like him and myself to be able to take a day off, a week off, a month off, the next 6 months off. I want to take some time and regroup and renew and just be. And so I need you to go protest. Wear your mask, be safe, have social distancing, but I need you to protest with your dollars, protest with your actions, protest with your conversations, protest. You walk to the police department and demand justice. You write letters to senators and other state legislators. You write to real Donald Trump on Twitter and say, this has to stop. That is more powerful than a text of how you're doing or a post that you're sorry and that you also are mad at the world. I need your anger to turn to action. I need you to stand in the gap and stand in places that me and other folks like me may not have the energy to do it. Even when we don't have the energy, we will. We are going to step up. We are going to say something, but I need you to use your voice. A couple of weeks ago, I wrote in an op-ed in the Omaha Herald talking about my experience, and I had shared it on Facebook as well. A gentleman wrote that he, as a white man in Omaha, agreed with my sentiment, understood what was going on, and demanded that other white folks stand up with him. Immediately following his was another white man from Tecumseh, Nebraska, who wanted me to know that I was overly privileged, that this was beyond race, that it had actually nothing to do with race, and that I probably was okay, and I needed to reevaluate my thoughts and my feelings. This gentleman suggested that actually Black folks are harming more Black people, and if I really wanted to be in danger, I should go to North Omaha, which happens to be a predominantly Black neighborhood. I thought, well, I could write back to him again because it seems as if the Omaha World Herald publishes anything these days. So maybe I should write back. And then I thought, no, I don't want to write. I don't actually want to have to say yet again that this is unacceptable. I want the white folks in my life who are saying that they are grieved, that they are burdened, right back. I want them to see the editorial he wrote and the heinous things he said. And then I want the Omaha Herald to be flooded with my white allies saying, no, Black lives do matter. Your comments are reprehensible and this must stop. Is it too much to ask that before I can make a post, you've already made it? Before I can have a conversation, you've already began the conversation. And I'm not asking that you step in and take away my voice and my experience and become a white salvific figure. What I'm saying is that as a fellow human being, you do your work to make sure that we're bending towards this arc of justice. So if you just started watching, here are the quick things I'm going to remind you. How can you support this Black man in America? Widen your circle. Don't stop talking about this. Even when it's not in the newspaper and it's not on CNN and MSNBC or somehow handled at Fox in a messed up way, keep talking about it. Don't stop protesting. Protest again with your pocketbook, protest with your social media, and when safe and able, protest in person. Put yourself out there. And then lastly, vote. Vote with conscience. Vote with the reality that we need to change this world. vote with the reality that we are the change we want to see. We're not waiting on some sort of Calvary to occur. We have to be the people who make this world a better place. I hope you hear my words, and here they are from my heart. And don't get offended if you message me and ask how I'm doing. And I respond, I'm better knowing that you are doing something. I'm better knowing that you're taking action. I'm better knowing that you're interrupting the systems of white supremacy that you might be benefiting from or perpetuating or watching happen before our very eyes. Thank you for listening. Thank you for praying. Most importantly, thank you for acting. God bless you.